Shall we start opening prayers?
Good morning, Rinpoche.
Yes, good morning.
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Miserable, may all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment or aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment or aversion. Mandala offering. An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of an infinite ocean of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all beings they contain. My body enjoyments, whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sources, my aspirations now and the time to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be free from self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising, cessation, abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Devada Kini Ratna Mandala Pratisa Soha. Supplication to Lord Jigten Sungen, unequal refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor Vajradhara. Without a doubt, I bow at the feet of the Father Jigten Sungen. Continually I think of no one but you, compassionate one. Grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborate nature of mind. Request for teachings. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combinations according to the disposition and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Okay, everybody, first please take a deep breath. Inhale fully all the blessings of the Buddha, and exhale all our stress. Once more, please inhale all the Buddha's love and compassion. And exhale all our stress. Once more, please inhale fully all the Buddha's Bodhicitta, which pervades our entire mind. and exhale all our confusion. Now first, please cultivate our mind of the enlightenment, desire to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, on the basis of love and compassion. And relax physically, mentally. And now we are studying the jewel ornament of liberation, the precious teaching given by Dharma Lord Gampopa, the great enlightened being historically, and benefited countless sentient beings. His teachings are very profound, simple, direct, penetrating the reality nature of the all phenomena and our mind as well. Now please reflect as we did. The mind is the center of the whole universe. Our mind. The mind is very profound. The mind is very vast. It is such a reality nature that when we are confused, to see the mind, as it is, and then it is called samsara. And when we have such a great wisdom to see that very confusion is nothing but wisdom. That very confusion itself is emptiness. When we have such mind, a wisdom mind, which can penetrate that mind itself, and itself is the enlightenment. There's no enlightenment outside of the mind. The mind is self, is nature of the enlightenment. But when we fail to see that, then our mind is confined within the cocoon of the confusion, and we cannot go out of that. We're just trapped, entangled within that confusion. And then suffering just comes around because there's a cause of suffering. So everything is functions within the constitution of the causality. So as long as there is a cause of the confusion, then the suffering is just there. Suffering is the reflection of the confusion. So here we try to understand, try to know what that confusion is about and how to dispel that, how to purify that. Even though the confusion itself is not exist as we perceive. But we are so habituated, we are so into that for a long time. So it is something like very real for us. When you see a beautiful flower, we see that is real, so beautiful, so fresh. We don't see as an illusory nature. We don't see as a manifestation. But those individuals who have special wisdom that can see the reality nature of all this phenomena, everything is just a reflection. It's just a manifestation. So that very beautiful flower, it constituted within it the many causes and conditions. At the same time, it's just play of the causes and conditions. So there's nothing to grasp. It's just a manifestation. It's just a reflection. So there's nothing to attach to it. There's nothing to hate on that. It's all just a play of the causes and conditions. So that what we're trying to understand and practice. So it requires our strong devotion, and we should have a wisdom how to appreciate that. And then we just go into the where we are belong to, what's called the primordial reality nature as it is. So that's our purpose of study, practice the Dharma. Nothing else. As I mentioned many times, our Dharma study practice is not just a religious training. Dharma's here, what to study, practice. As Buddha introduced us the whole reality nature of the samsara and nirvana as it is, free from the contrived, free from all the artificial, free from all confusion, the defilements. It's all just taught us. Buddha taught us to see as it is. That's what's called cessation. What is ceased to exist? And what to cease to exist is we need to make effort. The confusion, that is we have to make effort to cease to exist. We should cease the confusion. So no longer can confine us in this confusion and boundary. Our nature is limitless. As you know, in dust, in smallest one dust particle can contain whole universe. The universe is not smaller. The one dust particle is not bigger. But when you see it, there's no smaller or bigger or better or worse, because there's nothing to despair. There's nothing to achieve. It's called uncontrived, unartificial. So that's what we're trying to understand Dharma practice. So we appreciate ourselves that I have a precious human life to study, practice the Dharma. And then we appreciate now we met the Dharma teachings that Buddha taught. especially that were taught by Dharma Lord Gampopa, that what we're studying, the jewel ornament of liberation. Gampopa said, as you know, you have heard of that, he said, in the future, if anybody wishes to see me, you read the jewel ornament of liberation and the precious garland of supreme path, and it will be them as seeing me. So these precious teachings of Gampopa is the region of Gampopa. That if we see Gampopa directly, he will teach this. There's no more. So that we are studying, practicing the teachings of Gampopa, jewel ornament liberation. Now here, what we are studying is the introduction to the it is the antidote to not knowing the method of practice for Buddhahood. Now, there are 12 in that particular, in other words, whole the jewel ornament of liberation teaching is within that. This is, as I mentioned, is the constitution of the enlightenment. How to achieve the enlightenment, what the enlightenment Buddhahood is about. So there are 12 topics, as you see, and the foundation, essence, classification, so forth. Now, foundation, we have the Buddha nature, and that is awakening. We want to be free from samsara. We want to attain enlightenment, and not just for ourselves, for all other sentient beings. That's first foundation. Then, upon that, we take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's such a precious thing, taking refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. As I mentioned before many times, we take refuge in the samsaric confusion. Because of that, there's no one day we are free from suffering. So now here we take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then third foundation is the take the precept, one of the 7, but not just wow. So this makes a very good foundation. If you want to build a big building, house, mansion, you need a very good foundation. So this is how to build the foundation to attain Buddhahood. See? So preparing now to cultivate Bodhicitta. Then essence means definition. What means Bodhicitta? What's the definition of Bodhicitta? What's the essence of Bodhicitta? The desire to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's called Bodhicitta, the mind of the enlightenment. And then classification, division. Now, how many different types of bodhicittas there? So since this is the gradual path, step by step, so there are, first of all, they made 3 divisions or classification. The simile or analogy, there are 22, as you know, there's 22 analogies from the beginning to the Buddhahood. And there's a 4 demarcation. First, interest, aspiration mind to attain Buddhahood. Then the altruistic mind, the saksama, that from first bhumi to the 7th bhumi, the mind is totally altruistic, not just interest, not just interest for individuals, liberation, rather for all the sentient beings. And then to according to that, we train the mind to, in that nature, in that altruistic mind, we train ourselves. we need to repeat this mind again and again. I cultivate the mind for the enlightenment of Buddhahood, for the interest of the sentient beings. Then, next, third, maturation. The mind is maturing, ripening, become more productive. We can have a very successful interaction. Then perfection, Buddhahood. So that's demarcation. Then what's called the primary characteristic. There's a true mind. There's the basic, the Bodhicitta, the ultimate Bodhicitta, and relative Bodhicitta. See, so these are very important. It is in the classification. The ultimate Bodhicitta is achieved above, from first Bhumi towards the Buddhahood. The mind is captured or realized in the nature of the shamatha and wisdom, special insight, that mind. So that mind is uncreated, is effulgent, clear by nature, and unmoving by thoughts, cannot be disturbed. It's like a lamp without wind, And relative Bodhicitta, that we desire to attain Buddhahood. So then in the aspiration Bodhicitta, there are two, yes, in the relative Bodhicitta. In the relative Bodhicitta, there are two, aspiration Bodhicitta and the action Bodhicitta. So these are this, So classification. Objective. Now, what's the objective of the practice of Bodhicitta? There are two. Searching for Buddha's enlightenment mind, so called wisdom. Wisdom knowing as it is, and wisdom knowing everything. And then that to attain Buddhahood is for the benefit of all sentient beings. So there are two objectives. There's two objects, project, enlightenment, and sentient, to benefit sentient beings, you see. And the cause, as you see, the cause for the enlightenment. So there are four causes, you see. When you see Buddha, who is free from all the confusion, free from all suffering, effortless, no agitation, always in the state of calm and peace. So you are so inspired the Buddha state. So that's one cause to cultivate Bodhicitta. And then when you see the suffering of sentient beings, the suffering of sentient beings so much. Is there any way to free from the suffering of the samsara? There's no, you can see. No matter how powerful the individual is, as long as that individual is within the samsara, cannot free from the suffering. So looking at the suffering, those who are dominated by the suffering and the confusion. So the only answer is to attain Buddhahood. And to attain Buddhahood is to cultivate Bodhicitta. So that's the second cause. And then you see you admire about the Bodhicitta. What is the Bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is the mind seeking to eliminate all the cause of suffering within the mind, which is not easy, very complex. As you see, it is all mental afflictions. These mental afflictions, these defilements are not easy to handle. Today you feel so good, oh, I'm so good, oh, everything's fine. And next day you are miserable, you see. Why? So there's no way, there's no one day say, now I'm totally free from this suffering, It's just vicious cycle, one after another. So that only can handle by the Bodhicitta. So you inspire the Bodhicitta. See it. So that is the consummate part. Bodhicitta is the consummate part to free from all the confusion and to attain Buddhahood. So this is the third cause. And the fourth, the spiritual master, great teacher, they will advise you. They will give you real instruction for your own benefit. I ask you cultivate Bodhicitta. I ask you to study, practice Bodhicitta. No? I will help you to do this. But you have the responsibility to do this. So the spiritual master gives you the instruction. Instead, oh, you don't need any effort. I will liberate you. No one can do that. You see, see, you have to make the effort to attain Buddhahood. See, so that spiritual master gives you the real instruction. So these four causes are so precious. See. So the cause, then there are more others, but these are the first very important cause. Then you see, method means ceremony. We are in that. There are many. First, from whom you have received this Bodhicitta means the spiritual master. The spiritual master, without, if there's no spiritual masters, you can, if individual has the ability, you can visualize Buddha Dhamma Sangha in front of you, or in the shrine room you see, and then follow according to the ceremony. You take the Bodhisattva's vow, or first cultivate aspiration Bodhicitta, and then take the Bodhisattva's vow. Okay. And with the spiritual master must have all the excellent qualities, as earlier mentioned in the book, contributory cause, the spiritual master. One who has studied all the Mahayana teachings, have then practiced, have received the Bodhisattva's vow, and kept well, without any pondering, and who has all the ability to perform the ceremony, and not interested for individuals' gain, but really to help others. The mind is totally dominated for others' benefit, not individuals' interest. So spiritual masters, these are, as you can read now, I'm just clarifying a little bit, And then method, ceremony, even though there are many, it's said here, but there are two most important lineages from Buddha, Manjushri, Nagarjuna, Shantideva, that we have discussed step by step. There's a preparation, actual ceremony, and conclusion. There's preparation, there's 6 branches, 6 divisions of offering. Now they are also explained very detailed about the offerings. but very short, but very concise. So what I admire this book is there's some other books you can see, there's so many words, pages to read. But here, few sentences gives the essence of the meaning. Now there you use your mental capacity to capture it, the offerings with or without object. Offering, you see, then material offering and the ultimate offering. See, unsurpassed, there's called surpassed offering and unsurpassed offering. In the unsurpassed offering, the Bodhicitta, practice of Bodhicitta is the unsurpassed offering. All the Buddhas will be so happy if you cultivate Bodhicitta. That's the best offering to all the Buddha. Because Buddha's concern is all the sentient beings. Buddha is already perfected, enlightened, nothing need nothing. But Buddha is always concerned sentient beings. So if there's somebody is cultivating Bodhicitta, it's so happy. It's unsurpassed offering. And then your practice of Mahamudra is unsurpassed offering. Free from the three spheres, the agent, the offerer, the subject of the offering, and the offering itself. Free from these three spheres offering. Then next, purification, as we discussed in the book, so precisely now described. You see, this is the skill of Gampopa. Where they need some important point, he explains so carefully. Because up until now, we are the samsara, because of our what's called the obscuration of the delusion. All the negative karmas we made to protect our body, to protect our wealth, to protect our loved ones, and to protect our fame. We want to be famous. We want to be praised by others. So you are so wonderful, then you are so happy, So we're fishing the praise, So all the negative karmas are made by these four. And these all four we leave behind when we die. But life goes no further, next to next. So therefore, it's so wise we purify all this obscuration of the karma, obscuration of the mental afflictions, purify. See, then rejoice all the virtuous deeds the Buddha taught towards every individual. And then we request Buddha, Bodhisattva to turn the wheel of Dharma. And then we beseech all Buddhas who kind of say, now I don't want to stay in the samsara. I want to take vacation. So we beseech, please stay with us until the end of samsara and dedication. This is the preparation. So these are mind training, and we have to train our mind repeatedly. Mind becomes flexible. So then ceremony, as we read, and conclusion we read also. So now today here we are page, if you have the same book, page 164, Dharmakirti tradition, that the tradition of Dharmakirti of Acharya Asanga's school. So as mentioned, Dharmakirti, these are not the logician, famous logician Dharmakirti. This Dharmakirti from Indonesia at the 10th century, a very famous scholar and Bodhisattva who embodies the Bodhicitta. So Atisha received Bodhisattva's vow or teaching from him, from that school. Now, if I read some of these, school, which was founded by Arya Maitreya, has two topics: cultivation, aspiration, bodhicitta, and two, holding the vow of action, bodhicitta. The former contains three topics: the aspiration, bodhicitta, preparation, actual ceremony, and conclusion. So now the cultivation of aspiration, bodhicitta, the preparation also has three subdivisions: supplication, and gathering accumulations, and special refuge. So this maybe I'll read just to remind, Number one, supplication. So disciple who wishes to cultivate bodhicitta proceed toward a qualified spiritual master and thus prostration. So this is so important. Now you see, now we advertise this teaching, the ceremony, this, but we have to show your individual interest. It's very important. Because your mind is owned by yourself. Nobody can twist at your mind. Even if you are not interested in Dharma practice, even Buddha come in front of you, Buddha cannot do anything. No. But if you have the interest, then you look for a qualified spiritual master and go to that spiritual master. I'm so interested taking Bodhisattva's vow. Can you please perform the ceremony for me? That's one. The spiritual master gives instruction, and through his instruction causes the disciple to renounce samsara, developing great compassion toward all sentient beings, create the desire to attain Buddhahood, develop confidence in the three jewels, and develop devotion for the master. All this explained step by step. And the disciple gets the message. Going through step by step. See. After that, the disciple repeat after the master this way. Please hear me, master. As the previous, thus born one is Tathagata, Buddha, who destroyed all the confusion, complete perfect Buddha and Bodhisattvas who reside in high levels, high means above the samsara. Otherwise there's no high or low, Here high means above the samsara. Levels resides in high levels, first cultivated the mind of unsurpassed perfect enlightenment. Likewise, I request the master to allow me to cultivate the enlightened attitude of the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment. So this first ceremony, repeat 3 times. Repeat this 3 times. Gathering accumulation of merit, accumulation of wisdom. Sometimes we wonder what that is, So they were gathering such rich cause, a powerful cause, purifying our mind. Basically, this, gathering accumulation, first straight to the master and triple gem Buddha Dhamma Sangha, then make offering of whatever you can actually gather, or visualize in the mind all the offerings that exist. So now, see, Shira Manera, novice, monks or nun, vows are received from the Upadhyaya, means Kempo, the abbot, and Acharya, the teacher who served the ceremony. So this is the Sharamana, the novice, monks or nun, how they receive their vow. Bhikshu, full ordained, monks or nun, full ordination, vows are obtained from the Sangha. So there is Kempo, of course, there is Loban as well, Acharya, but has to have at least 5 or 10 full ordained monks. But the true types of Bodhicitta are obtained through the accumulation of merit. See, the aspiration Bodhicitta, the action Bodhicitta are received, one can get by the power of the merit. More you have the merit, wisdom, the gathered, more it's effective, powerful to generate bodhicitta. So therefore, if one has wealth, it is not sufficient to offer just a little or small. One need to make a great offerings. Just make as much as you can. See, in the history, there is a lot of histories, it said, in the previous time, wealthy bodhisattvas made great offerings. They offered 10 million temples, and then cultivated bodhicitta. The fortunate Aeon Sutra mentions. During the regency of King Zamling, the Sugata Tajin, after having offered for 10 million temple to the Tathagata, they were taught. So make that offering, 10 million temple make offering to the Buddha, and then the king cultivated bodhicitta, developed bodhicitta for the first time. And sometimes you may say, oh, there's so much, Even I don't have one temple, how I can offer 10 million temple, Not possible. I cannot do this, So don't worry. Relax, No, here said, now Gampopa said, if one has little wealth, it is sufficient to make a small offering. In the previous time, bodhisattvas who had little wealth made small offerings by offering a lamp, just a lamp, a candle, made of one blade of grass. You see, they cultivated the bodhicitta, it is said. During the regency of Sugata, Ronki Tempa, the Tathagata, Taye Yu, after having offered a lamp made of a single blade of grass, developed bodhicitta for the first time. See? Even whatever you have just small, you make that offering and you cultivate bodhicitta. Now there are more. So again, if one has no wealth, so I don't have even a penny, what should I do? You may say, I don't have even a penny to offer. No, I have nothing. So can I cultivate bodhicitta? Or maybe I don't have chance to do this. So you have, see here. If one has no wealth, there is no need to feel sad, feel sad, worry over the lack of means. It will be sufficient to do 3 frustration. In previous time, Bodhisattvas did 3 frustration and developed Bodhicitta. It is said, the Tathagata, Yunten Tengden, after having done 3 frustrations before the Tathagata, he then developed Bodhicitta for the first time. What important is you look at the suffering of all sentient beings. You see the quality of the Buddha, and you admire that. And you have such a sincere mind. I want to do this without any second thought. Then you just do the 3 frustrations to the Buddha or great masters and cultivate Bodhicitta to attain Buddhahood. That's what is important. Miller ever said, I didn't have any offerings to my Lama Marpa, but I sincerely followed the Dharma, practiced, and I pleased him. So this is what important is. Usually in offerings, you visualize whole universe and make offering to all the Buddhas. Whole universe bring in the mandala of the mind, in the dimension of the mind, and make offering to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And all the Buddhas will be happy about that and cultivate Bodhicitta. Number 3, the special refuge. This is the same as was explained before in chapter 8. So you see there. Now, actual ceremony. There's some part I read. No need to read all, but first the B. Actual ceremony. The master gives instruction to the disciple in this way. Now here, Gampopa brought together the essence of those teachings, where the purpose of the cultivating Bodhicitta. So please just pay attention on this. So wherever space pervades, there are sentient beings. Means countless sentient beings. Wherever there are sentient beings, they are pervaded by the afflicting emotions, means mental delusion. All the mental afflictions we have. Look at everywhere you go around. Doesn't matter what language they speak. Doesn't matter what kind of culture they have. Doesn't matter whether educated or uneducated. Doesn't matter whether rich or poor. You see, the mental affliction now is invaded the sentient being's mind. So that means wherever there are afflicting emotions, mental delusions, negative karma is pervaded. Then naturally, negative karma is made from this. As Nagarjuna said, the mental afflictions of the 3 poisons, that itself is non-virtue. And that creates all the non-virtuous karma. Wherever there are evil deeds, negative karma, suffering pervades. Then there are mental suffering, physical suffering, all there. These sentient beings who are suffering were all our parents. And these parents were very kind to us. Now this you reflect in the practice of loving kindness there. How we, the all sentient beings, have been our parents. Kind, relative, parents, relative, friends, whatever you say, So I owe so much to these sentient beings. Thus, your kind parents are sinking in the ocean of samsara. Means ocean of samsara means in the vicious cycle of the suffering and confusion, unending, tortured by innumerable sufferings, one after another. You, just for example, you suffer so much in the animal realm. As yesterday we talked about that, you see. Look, you see the chicken farm, fish farm, look at there, so much suffering. Cattle farm there. There's no way one day to be free from all the suffering. Life after life, life after life, because we keep creating the cause of the suffering. So just look at it, just bring in that your heart. How I can help. There are no one to protect them. So these sentient beings, there are no one to protect. Everyone is interested in the business. There's so much suffering that they are exhausted and overpowered by delusion. They are exhausted, but they are not free from suffering because they're overpowered by the delusions. So meditate on how wonderful it would be if they met with peace, the phase of happiness. So if they are free from this kind of suffering, torture, what a wonderful it would be. Like myself, if somebody tortured me, how I feel. When I'm free from this torturing, what I feel. We all share the same suffering. How wonderful if they were free of their suffering. Contemplate this meditation on loving kindness, compassion for a moment. You see, the teacher explains to disciple. This Gampopa brought this together. Such a beautiful, just you read this just small paragraph, how rich the meaning is there, how it expresses the nature of the samsara. When there's a war, shelling, throwing bombs, how much people are suffering. No leader can do so much. They just say, there's the bad, it's not going good, so it's not good. So they're saying that much. Something like powerless. Even in the human realm, you see. Then, as mentioned in the animal realm, there are so many degrees of the suffering. See? So this... Furthermore, contemplate at this time, I have no ability to benefit all these beings. So now, I myself, in the delusion, I myself, the mind is surrounded by a confusion, suffering. How I can help? I have no ability to help. I want to, but no ability. What to do? No. It's the way to now get out of this. See, Now Gampopa says, therefore, in order to benefit all sentient beings, I should attain the state of the one who has come, the complete Buddha, the complete perfect Buddha, the one who has fully exhausted all the faults, dissipated all the faults, mental affliction, negative karmas, and perfected all the qualities of the wisdom, compassion, that qualities, has all the ability to benefit sentient beings. That state, Buddhahood, has every ability to benefit sentient beings. If one is interested, then Buddha, through his great skill, benefits sentient beings. Means bring this in the mind, so bring this in your mind. Means reflect, meditate. So how wonderful this would be. That's I should do it, because there's no other alternative. If there's other alternative, we should try that. No, good try, but there's no alternative. See, this is the way. It's a mental journey. Purify our mind. That's what I mentioned. Mind is very complex, profound, vast, and both samsara and enlightenment. So then ceremony repeats. So this we no need to, I don't need to read this. So basically we done the ceremony, or you can take Bodhisattva vow every day in the morning, in the afternoon. No, just repeat this. In our prayer book, we have those, meditate. So these are just as the previous Buddhas, Bodhisattvas cultivated Bodhicitta, I will do today, in front of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, so forth. Now here, page 167, number 2, holding the vow of the action Bodhicitta. Oh, no, sorry. I should read the C, conclusion. Having achieved such a great benefit, means now you have, through this ceremony, you cultivated aspiration Bodhicitta. There you say, oh, what wonderful now. Today I got this precious opportunity to cultivate this aspiration Bodhicitta. Then you see, great benefit. One should have great joy and should meditate on great happiness. Also, one should receive explanation of all the trainings. They are coming next training. There are 5 trainings. Thus, one who has cultivated this mind is called a Bodhisattva. As soon as you cultivated the aspiration Bodhicitta, and you are called Bodhisattva, you see. Which means having the desire to achieve the enlightenment, Buddhahood, in order to benefit all sentient beings. Having the desire to liberate all sentient beings after achieving enlightenment, focusing the mind on enlightenment and sentient beings. See, now you focus. After you cultivate this aspiration Bodhicitta, now always focus. I have to attain Buddhahood. I have not yet attained Buddhahood. I have to. I have to benefit all sentient beings. This too, our objective, we have that, no? Enlightenment and sentient beings. And for this purpose, possessing a great warrior mind. So this called great warrior mind. We call hero, the real hero. not just helping one person, helping every sentient beings. That's real hero, warrior. And that's called indomitable courage. That has such a great courage that nothing can dominate. Always powerful mind. This completes the ceremony for cultivation of aspiration bodhicitta. Now, number 2, holding the vow of the action bodhicitta. There are 3 topics regarding taking the action bodhicitta now. A vow, preparation, actual ceremony, and conclusion. The A, preparation. Preparation has 10 subdivisions. First, supplicating, asking about common obstacles. What are the common obstacles? Explaining the different types of downfall, which will later come. Explaining the falls of the downfalls. Explain this through the different types of downfall and how downfall happens. Downfall explaining, and then beneficial effects of taking the vows, gathering the accumulation, asking about uncommon obstacles. Here is the action bodhicitta. To receive the action bodhicitta, now the uncommon obstacle is the not cultivating aspiration bodhicitta. If you have not cultivated aspiration bodhicitta, there's no foundation to cultivate the action bodhicitta. Encouragement, you encourage to cultivate bodhicitta. Developing special altruistic thought. So special altruistic thought. For all the sentient beings, I will do it. I'm here to help sentient beings. I'm cultivating in front of all the Buddhas this action bodhicitta. And briefly explaining the training, the 6 parameters. Okay, then next. Actual ceremony. This not too long, maybe I'll read it. The disciple should cultivate the desire to accept the vow. The master calls the noble disciple named and asks, your names as such, ask the basis of training of all the bodhisattvas of the past and those moral ethics, the basis of training of all the bodhisattvas of the future, and those moral ethics, the basis of training of all the bodhisattvas abiding in the 10 directions in the present, and those moral ethics, the bodhisattvas of the past who were trained on the basis of those training and moral ethics, the bodhisattvas of the future who will be trained, the bodhisattvas abiding in the 10 directions in the present, who are being trained on the basis of those training and moral ethics. All the moral ethics are the moral ethics of now. All the moral ethics, you should understand, the moral ethics of restraint, avoiding all the non-virtue, 1. The moral ethics of accumulating virtue means all the qualities of the Bodhisattva to become Buddha, and moral ethics of benefiting sentient beings. So these are the 3 moral ethics of the Bodhisattva. Do you want to accept these from me? A Bodhisattva with the name, your name. This is asked, the master asked the disciple 3 times. The disciple should respond, yes, I want to, 3 times. So through this ceremony, one received the action Bodhisattva's vow. Conclusion. The conclusion has 6 divisions, making an announcement. This means the master announces to all the Buddhas of the 10 directions. Today, this individual has taken Bodhisattva's vow to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So all the Buddha, please aware this. Explaining the beneficial effects of entering into the omniscient wisdom state. So this is the now possible opening the gate towards enlightenment Buddhahood. Warning not to proclaim the vow randomly. This means you yourself should not now randomly proclaim, so I took Bodhisattva's vow, or I'm Bodhisattva, It develops your ego, you see. You see. So then other people will respect you, and you expect that you expect to other people respect you. When they don't respect you, you are upset. So say don't proclaim randomly, So I took Bodhisattva's vows and go everywhere. But you keep that in your heart. Now I should do according to the discipline of the Bodhisattva. Making the disciple understand by briefly describing the trainings, and then the disciple making offering as appreciation and dedicating the root virtues. This concludes taking the action Bodhisattva's vow. This is the tradition of Dharma Kirti. Now the 2 traditions now we completed. Now from the from the Bodhisattva's vow. Okay. With this, the antidote to not knowing the method of practice. Now here we have this beneficial effects, this one. Now, method, beneficial effects. Cultivating Bodhicitta has 2 types of beneficial effects, countable and uncountable. A, countable effects. This has 2 subdivisions. The beneficial effects of cultivating aspiration Bodhicitta, the beneficial effects of the cultivating action Bodhicitta, cultivating or taking action Bodhisattva's vow. The first one, the beneficial effects of the cultivating aspiration Bodhicitta, this has 8 subdivisions. Now there are 8 topics to explain that. See, entering into the Mayanam becomes the basis for all Bodhisattva's training. All evil deeds will be uprooted. Unsurpassable enlightenment becomes rooted. One will obtain limitless merit. All the Buddhas would be pleased, and one becomes useful to all sentient beings, and one quickly attains perfect enlightenment. So now I'll read this step by step. These are very important. Beneficial effects means we have to practice it to get the benefit. If we practice this accordingly, we'll get the benefit. So the A, if one has not cultivated the supreme bodhicitta, the aspiration bodhicitta, he is not counted as part of the Mahayana family. Even though he may have excellent behavior, he or she, you know. So one who has bodhicitta, that's called bodhisattva. This belongs to Mahayana family. But one who has cultivated the supreme bodhicitta enters into the Mahayana. So when one achieves the cultivated aspiration bodhicitta, one becomes the bodhisattva. So one achieves, then one that individual enters into the Mahayana family. Bodhisattva Bhumi says, immediately after cultivating the mind, means aspiration bodhicitta, one enters into the Mahayana family and surpassed enlightenment. Mahayana, the unsurpassed enlightenment. If one does not have the desire to achieve Buddhahood, which is called the mind of aspiration, there is no basis on which to develop the three moralities. Three moralities, as earlier mentioned, the morality of the restraint on avoiding non-virtues, cultivating or accumulating all the virtues, qualities, and benefiting sentient beings, which constitutes the Bodhisattva's training. So it's mentioned, if you don't have aspiration bodhicitta, there's no basis to take the Bodhisattva's vow, the action. When one has the desire to attain Buddhahood, these three moralities are developed and maintained. Therefore, this mind is the foundation for the training. Bodhisattva Bhumi says, cultivating the mind is the foundation for the training of the Bodhisattvas. See, the antidote of evil deed is virtues, you know. Whatever non-virtue we have accumulated, is to purify all this, we need some powerful antidote. So within that, the bodhicitta is the supreme among all the virtues. Bodhicitta is the supreme antidote for the non-virtue. Therefore, when there is an antidote, it's necessary is to exhaust the opposite, all the non-virtues. See, like as soon as when the sun shines, the darkness dispels automatically. Engaging in the conduct of the Bodhisattva says, just like the fire at the end of an age, it instantly consumes all great evil, you know. And the mind continuum of sentient beings is like the ground. The unsurpassed for enlightenment becomes rooted, that one. You know? Sentient being is like the ground. When soft, that ground is soft with the moisture of loving kindness and compassion. The ground is soft. If the seed of the mind of enlightenment is planted, bodhicitta is planted on that soft ground, the 37 branches of enlightenment grow. So then Buddhahood is manifested, grow. The fruit of perfect Buddhahood ripens. and all the peace and happiness for sentient beings arises. Therefore, when bodhicitta is cultivated, Buddhahood is rooted. You see, when there's a cause, there's a result. When there's a bodhicitta, there's a Buddhahood. Say now, the Bodhisattva's Bhumi says, cultivating the mind is the root of the perfect, complete, unsurpassed enlightenment. And then accumulation of limitless merit is explained in the Householder Belgian requested sutra. The merit of bodhicitta, if they had a visible form, if you can see the form of the merit of the cultivating bodhicitta, saying, which entirely fill whole space, will fill every space. There would still be more. There will be space, will be less, and merit of the bodhicitta is greater, limitless. That all the Buddhas will be pleased is told. So cultivating bodhicitta will please all the Buddha, say here. In the Householder Belgian requested sutra says, as the number of the grain of sand in Ganges, so are the Buddha filled of all the Buddhas. If one person entirely filled them with the jewels to all these Buddhas and made this offering to all the well-born ones, Sugata, the Buddha. So if individual, as many as the sand of Ganges river of the Buddha filled, if individual made a jewel offering filled with the jewel to all this off to the Buddhas, how that individual will accumulate merit. Imagine, it's countless, measureless, cannot measure. Still say here, with a much it would be much superior offerings when a person fold his hands together and cultivate bodhicitta. This offering is beyond limitation, you see. Just hold your hand and cultivate bodhicitta, and that merit, but beyond measurement, inconceivable. And all the Buddhas will be so pleased, happy. See, just imagine, you see. So due to this inspiration, we must, focus on the practice of bodhicitta. This will help us to realize emptiness much easier. Then becoming useful to all sentient beings is mentioned in planting the Noble Stock Sutra. It's like a foundation for usefulness to the whole world. Now, that mind, when it's cultivated, fertilized, grown, and developed, then it's the source of all the peace, source of all the courage, source of all the wisdom. To every sentient beings, to that mind, there's no discrimination, there's no judgment. Quick achievement of complete enlightenment is explained in the Bodhisattva's Bhumi. When one cultivates that mind, the bodhicitta, one will not remain in the true extreme. The true extreme is neither samsara nor partial nirvana. These are two extremes. So we will not stay in one of these two extremes, directly towards the Buddhahood. So quickly one will achieve complete enlightenment. See, now quickly means it's very relative. It's possible in one lifetime. It's possible in 100 lifetimes. It's possible 1,000 lifetimes. It's possible one kalpa. No, but it's relative. Samsara is endless. No, when samsara is endless, means no end. No. So if you cultivate bodhicitta, one day you will achieve Buddhahood. That is definite. So no doubt. So make that aspiration in your mind. Aspire to cultivate bodhicitta. You see. So this is the aspiration, this is the beneficial effects of the cultivating aspiration bodhicitta. Now, number two, beneficial effects of the cultivating action bodhicitta. There are 10 benefits of cultivating action bodhicitta. In addition to the earlier 8, the 8 beneficial effects of the aspiration bodhicitta is now included here. This, there are 2. A, one's own benefit arises continuously, and benefit for others arises in various ways. Now, A, cultivation of action bodhicitta is unlike the preceding, since the continuous force of merit arises constantly where one is sleeping, unconscious, lacks awareness, and so forth. So here, unlike means is unlike aspiration bodhicitta. This, when you took the action bodhisattva sound, cultivates the action bodhicitta, then because it's action, I will perfect all the cause. Actually going. So that's why, even you're asleep, even you're unaware, as long as your mind is there, the bodhicitta, you have not damaged that mind, then all the benefits just manifest continuously, like the floating river. Engaging in the contact of the Bodhisattvas says, from that time hence, means from the time you cultivated action bodhicitta, even while asleep or unconcerned, a force of merit equal to the sky or space will perpetually ensue, will increase. So this, looking at the benefit, they protect your bodhicitta, not allowed damage by any other negative forces. Now benefit, once you cultivated the action bodhicitta, that benefit for others variously arises, means that the suffering of all sentient beings is dispelled. They are established in happiness, and the afflicting emotions or mental defilements are cut. Engaging in the conduct of the Bodhisattva says, for those who are deprived of happiness, the individual who are deprived of happiness, peace, that Bodhisattva will manifest, help you to free from that kind of mental suffering. And burden with many sorrows, those who are too much burdened by the sorrow, the Bodhisattvas will help give you wisdom how to free from that kind of sorrow. It satisfies them with all joys. So, oh, you are so fortunate person. You take refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. You cultivate Bodhicitta. You renounce samsara. Make effort to achieve enlightenment. So this brings such great joy. Dispel all suffering and clears away confusion. Where is there a comparable virtue? Is there any other comparable virtue? There's no. If somebody is in the prison, and then the friend of that person comes, oh, my friend's in the prison. I must try to get that person out of prison because he or she is my friend. And you try all this and make effort to free from the prison. And your friend will appreciate so much. You helped me so much to free from this prison. But it's very temporary. Now here, Bodhicitta, who has the Bodhicitta, helps person to free from the prison of the samsara, to achieve enlightenment. How great that is. That's the Bodhisattvas can do. So look at these. So there's where is there even such a spiritual friend where there's merit similar to this kind of merit is unsurpassed. There's no similar merit in the samsara. So these are the beneficial effects of the both aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. So please read again and again, and then inspire, remind, or to practice. And be uncountable effects. Second, uncountable beneficial effects means that all good qualities rise from this time until one becomes the Buddha. So they are uncountable. So beautiful, The day when you cultivated Bodhicitta, and then you go forward, purifying all obscurations until you become Buddha. How much beneficial effects is there? It's uncountable. Okay. Now next, disadvantage of losing it. First you inspire Bodhicitta. Oh, I want to cultivate Bodhicitta. I really want to do this. Looks very, very impressive. I really like this, But then after some time, you say, your ego is so stubborn, Your ego is very stubborn. You see, you meet certain conditions, then your ego says, I cannot practice this, Because our ego is very sensitive, very fragile. Just our ego is very sensitive, very fragile. So then it calls to lose our bodhicitta. So what's disadvantage there? There are three folds of weakening. The mind become weak, weakening bodhicitta. By these folds, one goes to the lower realm, first one. By these folds, if one loses the bodhicitta, so now I cannot help sentient beings, impossible, excuse me, Then that goes to the lower realm, means then you see, first you said, Now today, in front of all these Bodhisattvas, I made a promise to bring all sentient beings to the enlightenment. So all the sentient beings be happy, including gods and demigods. I'm here for you. So now here's I cannot do it. You see, then all the Buddhas will say, oh boy. Then all the sentient beings now feel very sad. First, he or she cultivated Bodhicitta to help us. Now, no more. Sentient beings are now very sad. So that's why it becomes a cause you to reborn in the lower realm. See, by these falls, one fails to benefit others. Then you fail to benefit others because you said, no, I cannot do it. The third, by these falls, it takes a long time to attain the Bodhisattva's bhumi. If you're interested, again, to repeat, but it takes a long time. First you cultivate it, interested, and then you give up, and you come back, and back and forth, and back and forth. It takes a long time to become, to achieve Buddhahood. Okay. So this is the three disadvantage. Yeah. First, breaking the commitment by weakening the cultivated mind, deceives all sentient beings. First one. Second, by measuring of the fruit, one will be born in the lower realms. First, second, third. Yes, first, sorry, yeah. So engaging in the context of Bodhisattva says, Bodhicharya Avatara, if having made such a promise, I do not put it into action. If I don't put into action, if I fail, then by deceiving every sentient beings, what kind of rebirth shall I take? No. Every sentient beings are disappointed. If I disappoint one person, I become such a bad person. Now, if I made every sentient being disappointed, then what would be my rebirth? It's lower realm. Second, with these faults, one cannot benefit others. Thus, it is said in the Bodhicharya Avatara. For should it ever happen, if I have broken my Bodhisattva's vow, the welfare of all would be weakened, and benefiting of all sentient beings would become so weak, powerless. Third, it will take a long time to attain the Bodhisattva's bhumi. It said in Bodhicharya Avatara, thus those who have the force of an awakening minds, those individuals first you take the Bodhisattva's vow, who have so kind of energy, courage to go forward to enlightenment, attain Buddhahood in mind, as well as the force of falling from it. Now, if you fall from that, lose that great encouragement. No, the hero mind is lost. Stay revolving within cyclic existence. So then you back and forth, you cultivate bodhicitta, go forward, and then you weaken your mind, go backward, forward, backward. So this way, it will take a long time to become a Buddha. And for a long time are hindered in the reaching the Bodhisattva's level. It will take a long time to go forward. So look at this. So again here, very brief. Even the half page is very powerful message. Made into three. Look at these three. If we lose the Bodhisattva's vow, disadvantage. So meditate on this, reflect on this. I shall never do. If I lose the Bodhicitta, then what kind of other alternative I have? I don't have other alternative to free from suffering. So I have to go forward. No matter what kind of obstacles I face, I go forward. Okay. Now, what the cause of the losing this Bodhisattva's vow here? So good, number 10. The cause of losing it, there are two ways to lose the mind which has cultivated Bodhicitta. The cause of losing aspiration Bodhicitta, aspiration, and cause of losing action Bodhicitta. The first one consists of forsaking sentient beings, giving up sentient beings. Means somebody who irritates you, somebody you don't like that person. Say, now I will never see this person. Whatever that, you just totally give up that person. So it's called forsaking the sentient beings. Adopting the 4 unwholesome deeds that comes down later in the aspiration Bodhicitta's training. Telling lie to the spiritual master and causing regret that which no need to be regretted, and abusing Bodhisattva and deceiving sentient beings. Unwholesome deeds. And generating the opposite mind means now you no longer want to interested to attain Buddhahood. You want to stay in the samsara, which is the disharmonious mind with virtue. The cause of losing the vow of action is explained in the Bodhisattva's Booming. There are 4 types of offenses which cause Bodhicitta to be lost if one commits them through the heavy afflicting emotions, as I mentioned before. So look at these. Always make effort when these negative thoughts, powerful anger, hatred, desire, which opposes the Bodhicitta, purify, reflect. Always do the meditation. Then those mediocre and small effect offenses are merely disgrateful. And then when there's less degree of mental affliction, small degree of mental affliction, they damage Bodhisattva's vow, but they will not uproot your Bodhisattva's vow. So that also need to pay attention, not to arise any of those mental affliction. 20 verses precept says, in addition, when one loses aspiration Bodhicitta, it breaks the action Bodhicitta. Also, if you lose the aspiration Bodhicitta, desire to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, if you lose that mind, then the action bodhicitta is lost. The collection of complete establishment says there are four causes of breaking the Bodhisattva's vow. So let's say giving up dharma, giving up bodhicitta through the strong aversion of other sentient beings, or miserably deceiving others. So these also cause to lose the bodhicitta. So we should pay attention to the cause, which may lose our bodhicitta. Always pay attention and bring back, refresh your mind, repeatedly. That's called practice, you see. When to practice means this is what about. Shantideva said, generating non-harmonious mind also breaks the vow. Mitumba, non-harmony, means not harmony with bodhicitta. Means like giving up sentient beings or strong mental afflictions. This. The method of repairing if one lost aspiration bodhicitta, it can be restored by taking the mind again. When you go through the ceremony, you visualize Buddha in front of you, Bodhisattvas. In front of that, then you retake Bodhisattva's vow. First, I cultivate aspiration bodhicitta to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Practice, do that. That restore your Bodhisattva's vow. If one broke the action bodhicitta vow through loss of the mind of aspiration, it is restored automatically by restoring the aspiration bodhicitta. So this is clear. If one broke the vow through the other causes, it should be taken again. So they have mentioned all these other. Anyhow, you just in front of the Bodhisattvas, do 3 prostration, then first take refuge in them, and then cultivate bodhicitta 3 times or more. Repeat, and that will restore our bodhicitta if we are lost. If through 4 offenses, confession is sufficient. The 4 offenses, like telling lie to the spiritual masters and making regret those no need to be regretted, abusing Bodhisattva, deceiving sentient beings. This happens. You purify, confess in front of Buddhas. Is sufficient. When one committed mediocre and small evil deeds, then also retake the Bodhisattva's vow or confess in front of Bodhisattvas. So 20 precept says, if one loses, if this 20 precept is I forgot the writer of this. If one lost the vow, one should take it again. If one lost the vow, you should take again. If through the mediocre afflicting emotions confess in front of 3 Bodhisattvas, look at your mind, how your degree of the mere mental affliction is not too kind of say aggressive, but it's aggressive enough to damage your Bodhisattva's vow. So in front of 3 Bodhisattva person, then you confess. So I made this mistake. I purify. Then all the rest confess in front of 1. If it is smaller, mental afflictions like anger, attachment, then you confess in front of 1 Bodhisattvas. And all the rest, any other say, afflicted, or your practice was not so good. So in front of 1 Bodhisattva, confess all this and purify. Whether afflicted or not, whether defiled or afflicted or not, one's mind should be the witness. So you look yourself. There's no one to ask about this. We individuals are responsible. So since we are responsible, look at our mind. If any mistakes I made, I purify. To all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Repeatedly practice this. So these are the now cultivation of the Bodhicitta. So you see how nicely it's done now. Through this, you now make a good Bodhicitta. See, you get a complete information. You get a complete information to establish real what means Bodhicitta, that how you cultivate, how to bring into your mind, or how you take the Bodhisattva's vow. It's so precious, you see. The foundation, then the essence or the definition, so forth. Then how to take the Bodhisattva's vow, the beneficial effects, and what's the cause to lose, and how to repair. All this describes so precisely, with just such a short sentence. See? Then I think we need to also touch the next chapter 10. Training in Aspiration Bodhicitta. See, if we do this, it's excellent. Number 12, you see, training. After cultivating Bodhicitta, there are 2 types of training. A, training in Aspiration Bodhicitta. B, in Action Bodhicitta. And the training Aspiration Bodhicitta, the summary. I just recommend or just remind, if you can memorize the summary, each chapter there's a summary. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 topics. So useful, I try to memorize this in Tibetan. In Tibetan, this is, Semje Lume Tawata, Semje Pe Tenchata, Sonya Sapar Chawata, Yaya Changsam Chawata, Kana Chigya Landriti, Kana Chigya Landriti. I remember Semje do that one. Not forsaking sensation beings from one's heart, recollecting the beneficial effects of the mind, of that mind, gathering the 2 accumulations, practicing the enlightened mind repeatedly, and accepting the 4 virtues, and rejecting the 4 Non-virtuous means unwholesome deeds. These 5 comprise the training in aspiration bodhicitta. The first one is the method for not losing bodhicitta. The second one is the method by which bodhicitta does not weaken. The third one is the method for increasing the strength of bodhicitta. The fourth one is the method for deepening bodhicitta. The fifth one is the method for not forgetting bodhicitta. So not forgetting the bodhicitta. Some scholars, they say for giving up, they say. Now here is not forgetting bodhicitta. Now number 1, not forsaking sentient beings from one's heart. First, the training in not forsaking sentient beings from one's heart is the method for not losing bodhicitta. So this is not to lose bodhicitta. You have to keep the bodhicitta in your heart. The Naga king, Anavadapta, requested sutra says, a bodhisattva who possesses one quality holds all the excellent qualities of the bodhisattva. So what is that one quality? A mind which does not forsake anyone from one's heart. Not giving up anyone from your heart. So this first is very, very important now. So suppose someone acts unfavorably toward you. You adopt an attitude of distance from that person and have no concern for them. See, one person really treats you so badly. Then you say that you just stay out of my life, concern for them. Even if there were a chance to help that person in the future, you would refuse to do it. See, in the mind you're thinking, even I get a chance to help that person, I will never help. I will stay out of that person all the time. Even if a time come to protect that person from harm, you would refuse to do it. That's called forsaking sentient beings. So that's called forsaking sentient beings, giving up the sentient being. Furthermore, now it's explaining more. What is mean by forsaking sentient beings? Does it mean all sentient beings or just one? Even hearers, Sharavakas, or solitary realizer, Pratik Buddha, will not forsake all sentient beings. Neither will the hawk and wolf. They always constantly try to find the predator. They try to take life of any they get. Just example, Even they cannot give up everyone because they are family. They will never give up their family. Charavakas, Pratik Buddha, they look after sentient beings. They don't give up sentient beings. So, therefore, if one forsakes even one being, one individual, and does not apply that antidote within a session means you multiply not multiply. Divide 24 hours into 6. So one session will be 4 hours. In 4 hours, if antidote does not come in your mind, or does I made mistake, I should not do that. If that not happen, antidote within a session, then Bodhisattva is lost. It is completely unreasonable to forsake sentient beings from your heart while being called Bodhisattva and maintain the other training. So then you call, I took Bodhisattva's vow. No, so I'm Bodhisattva. So they practice love, some generosity, giving some morality, ethics, or practicing some patience. It's not reasonable, because you don't have Bodhicitta in your heart. For example, this is like killing one's only child and then accumulating wealth for his behalf. Like mother who has a child, killed the child, so now I'm accumulating wealth for my child. It's like that. So it's very, very heavy now that to lose the Bodhisattva's vow, or Bodhicitta, especially Aspiration Bodhicitta. Of course, one will not give up this attitude towards those beings who are benefiting oneself. There somebody is helping you, being kind to you, you will never give up that, or you will say this person is very kind, But there is a danger of giving it up regarding those who harm you. To them, especially, one should cultivate the compassion and make effort to bring them benefit and happiness. This is the training of the noble ones. It is said, when harm has been done in return for your good deeds, ever then it is to be answered by great compassion. The excellent beings of this world return a good deeds for an evil ones. So this is all the Bodhisattva's training are here in this verse. Lojong, mind training is all here. You help others. You help those individuals as much as you can. By any means. And in return, make you sick, treat you so badly. Still, you have to practice compassion to those. This person is so stupid. I wish he or she may not experience all the negative karma that created. I wish all the best that person free from suffering and attain enlightenment. That was what Buddha did in his countless lifetime, practicing this mind. That's why you read the great life stories of the masters. That's what's called courage. You have heard of this before. Indomitable courage, you see. You never lost the courage to help others. At this moment, maybe there's no chance to help that person because it's very distant. But in your mind, never give up. I will help that person no matter what happens. If there's chance. So in your mandala of the mind, all the sentient beings should be included. No one is left out of that mandala. Keep that in your mind, in your heart. So please know this is a very important training of Bodhicitta. That's why we have the prayer, Dala, Tamara Jepe, Da, Nopara Jepe, Gig. So all mother sentient beings, including those enemies who hate me, obstacles, who makes the obstacles of my path towards enlightenment, may they have all the happiness, free from suffering, and swiftly attain enlightenment. So this prayer is so crucial. Just meditate. While you are saying this prayer, meditate in the meaning. Sometimes you feel uncomfortable. The person hates you, makes you miserable. Still you are saying that person may have all the peace and happiness. You feel so uncomfortable, No, it's I feel very artificial, I don't know, I don't feel that. But you have to just practice that. Just habituate on that. Every day, So every day you take Bodhisattva's vow, every morning, and then try to habituate that. No matter what, it takes time. This is the first, most important. And rest is all good, but the first, this is so important. Like me, I'm a very stubborn person. Sometimes when people treat me so badly, then I say, forget it. I try my best, all this. Still they treat me so badly now. No, it's enough, But then I have to repeat again, oh, this is not good. It's not right. I'm making mistake, Retake the Bodhisattva's vow again, then practice again, repeat. Then you say, Shangju Semjo Rinpoche Majipanam Chikirchi, then Shangju Semjo Rinpoche, Bodhicitta, excellent mind, the supreme mind, may born where it's not born, where there's no born, may not increase and never decline, So say these prayers repeatedly. This is such a precious, important. So I thought today I said this here, and the rest we can go tomorrow, Any questions you have?
Yes, Kempo.
Yes.
But I believe you just answered it. I was just wondering, what is the particular Bodhisattva vow? So it's
the first one.
The prayer.
Yeah, first one.
Chanchib Semchok.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you repeat that often.
Okay.
And then look at first, you're aware if you're damaged or not.
Thank you.
Good morning, Kenshin.
Yes.
Yes.
Amelia.
Yes, I have a question. It sounds like, the development of bodhicitta is mostly, making the mind, in the mind, vast, wanting all beings to be free from suffering and to realize enlightenment. And then in our mundane world, with those we know, it sounds like the best, gift would be to have people sort of come on the path, Buddhist path. However, socially that's sometimes very not appropriate because people don't want you to tell them, you know, what to practice and things like that. So I'm thinking in terms of the relative things that we do to be kind and helpful, even though it's temporary and not as, you know, ultimately beneficial, that I think, I would think that those actions would also maybe be more important if we see that they can connect the person maybe to their own sort of loving kindness. If you are kind and helpful in whatever mundane way, whatever relative way, does that also sort of help them in a bigger way? Because it may connect them to that seed that they have. Is that an appropriate way to see helping in the relative?
Oh, yes, you know, big or small, relative or absolute. Just, you know, first you see, this, as we have discussed, not to harm anybody if we cannot help. First, we start with that. Not harming others if we cannot help. Start with that. Then, on the basis on that, not harming others, then just to help whatever it is, in the relative, small or big, or related to the Dharma, not related to Dharma, anything, but as long as it is helpful, you know, just to have very temporary peace, temporary happiness, whatever. And then you yourself, as a Dharma practitioner, that virtue, that merit, that virtue, you dedicate, may this action become a cause to attain Buddhahood. Everyone, see, so in your mind, you get all the chance to practice Bodhicitta. Other individuals, no, is we try to have, but individuals their own responsibility. No, it's not that we don't help them, but it is something that there's no chance to help, but not harm others. So these are very important.
Thank you, Kenshin.
Yes, yes, very good. Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody. Please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. And relax your mind. And refresh your bodhicitta. And your bodhicitta, that mind, makes stronger. And once more, please inhale fully. Then meditate that this mind is so precious. I'm so fortunate to have this opportunity to study, practice this, to achieve complete enlightenment. And once more, please inhale fully and relax your mind. And make your mind as like a space. As I mentioned, our mind is so confined in such a narrow place and entangled within this our confusion, self-grasping in this. So we try our mind, disentangle from this and open the mind, unconfined mind. Vastness like the space. And appreciate. So all what we are doing is now, you see, all the mental afflictions or afflicting emotions, defilement, whatever, confusion or ignorance, all this are the root cause of our life for oneself and others. So our purpose of this kind of practice is to purify these cause of suffering. This is not just nothing to do with different religions, cultures, systems in the world. Everywhere in the world, people are suffering. Animals are suffering because of our mental afflictions. And it's very hard to understand. They are the root cause of suffering. We're just looking outside, surface, not inside. So you see, Buddha's teaching is going to the root cause of suffering, and uproot that cause of suffering. And the Bodhicitta is the consummate path, a perfect path, a perfect method in the relative state as well as in the absolute state to take care of these cause of suffering. It may take time because it's in our mind. So mind is belong to us individual, not dominated by Buddha or that individual person. That is all we individual have our own mind, and we have the total freedom how to handle the mind. So these teachings that now we through, you see, step by step, is to see the mind, the cause of suffering, and see the mind, the cause for peace and happiness, and how to do this. So as mentioned, Gampopa, as he attained enlightenment through his own experience and through the writings of the Buddhas or teachings of the Buddha, carefully lay out all the steps which are so necessary, so crucial in the complete way. It's not, as I mentioned, it's not a Buddhism. It is a method. It brings all the causes and conditions to free us from all the confusion and making a space, let this all confusion go and replaced by the wisdom. And so that we can breathe peace and happiness. It's all the mind training. It is all about the mind training. As I mentioned at this last, even you help others with kindness, the repay is so harsh, bad. still you respond with the positive. In the world, the Buddha, all whatever the Buddha received, bad response, always kindness, compassion, and beneficial effects. Just Buddha repaid. That brings the real peace. No matter what kind of social system is changed, 21st century, 22nd century, 50th century, whatever goes, still people need peace and happiness. Still people don't want suffering. So we should understand that, meditate on this focus. No matter how hard that may be, but still is impermanent. See? No matter how hard, it still is impermanent. No matter looks is so solid, still there is emptiness, you see. So build courage, wisdom. So now, just as I mentioned, please reflect this Gampopa, skillfully lay out step by step the 12 topics from this Bodhicitta. Not knowing how to attain Buddhahood, the total, complete method, layout. So we follow that. So now we're just from today. We're practicing the training of the aspiration Bodhicitta and the training of the action Bodhicitta. So it's called training, mind training. Okay, thank you. Now, Anila, please say some dedication prayers.
Thank you, Kenshin La. Starting with a concise, long life prayer for Rinpoche, you who are richly endowed with the glorious wealth of Dharma knowledge, who through reflection and meditating have actualized self-aware absolute reality and shine with 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline of Buddha Dharma. May you, Kenshin Ratnao Zoa, live long. Dorje Chang, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Gampopa, Phakmudrupa, and Lord Drikungpa. Please bestow upon us the highest and the most auspicious blessings of the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve the all-knowing state. May all those who travel the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies' confusion. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it's born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health and long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra realized ultimate state Buddhahood, I will follow in their path and share all the merit with all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of unchanging Dharma as such, and by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assemblies of yidams, assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis gathered in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. By the power of the vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die with a wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the luminosity of mind as such and pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I in any case gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikungpa Ratnashiri, omniscient Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Thank you, Rinpoche. It was wonderful.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
take
Thank you,
care.
Kuntula.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm.
So
Thank you.
expansive.
Thank you,
Thank
Rinpoche. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.